guys, it's Rick. I'm back for Pixi Dust Designs today, and we are going to be making a Woof-tastic card using the Woof Stamp Set and some other products from Pixi Dust Designs. I have stamped out my images from the Woof Stamp Set using a Toffee Crunch ink. This is going to give us a no-line coloring look without having to suffer through the process of hunting for lines for no line coloring, but it's still the same process. So I have colored this up using the muted brown Spectrum Noir tri-blend marker, brush marker, starting with my lightest color, filling it in, and then going back and adding my darkest, and then blending that out with the mid-tone. I'm doing the same thing for the muzzle and for the little inside of his doghouse. I did blend out the inside of his muzzle to blend that in a little bit better. I'm coming in with a brown shade. This is the earth brown blend, and I'm just outlining what I want to be where my shadows are, mapping that out, and I'm going to put in my darkest color first and blend, just flick that in towards the center. I'm coming in now with my mid-tone and pulling that in. That will be my most used color on this whole thing. And then I'm going to come in with the lightest color and blend that out. And just make sure that I keep my lines. As long as I have my shadows in place, then everything is going to blend nicely and look correct. I did have to touch up a little bit because I put in the wrong color. So I had to go back and fix that and blend that out a little bit. Now for the size of the doghouse, I'm just going to blend that in with the darkest color, and anywhere that there is a shadow, I'm going to add that first, and then I will blend that out with the mid-tone, or just add that in, and then I'm going to blend that out with the lightest color. And then I'm going to come back and add my shadows and do that same thing one more time. So I'm coming in with the darkest color, I'm coming in with the mid-tone now again to blend everything together, and then I'm coming in with that lightest color. For the roof, I wanted him to have a red doghouse. It kind of reminds me of Snoopy's doghouse. So I'm coloring it in the dark red blend. I'm adding in the shadows. I've mapped it out with the lightest color. I'm going to come in now and just kind of flick in that dark color where I want it to be, and blend that out with the mid-tone, and then blend it all together with the lightest color. So you can see I get a no-line look without all the fuss. So I've just filled in the little dog bowl. I'm going to add just a little bit of shadow in there, blend that out with our mid-tone and then our lightest color. And we're going to add just a little bit of color to the bone on his little roof, or the top of the doghouse. I don't really know if that's a roof or not. So I've just used one color and blended that out. I'm going to use that same color for the little bone that I'm going to cut out. For this little dog bowl, I'm using the hydrangea blend, and I've just started to fill it in with the lightest color and then the mid-tone, and I'm blending that out now with the mid-tone and the lightest color again. And I'm going to use that same color combination on her little bow and her little hair and her dog collar. So I just use that same color combination. If you've watched any of these videos or any of my videos on my channel, you know I like to repeat things a couple times so that everything is cohesive. Now for my little puppy, I am using the tan blend for him. So I am putting in the lightest color first, and then adding in my darkest color and blending that out with the mid-tone. Just going around his little muzzle, and we're going to put in his little ears. The shadow is coming from the right, and I have my light source coming from the left on this card, or at least on this little puppy anyway. I'm going to do a little tip-to-tip work here, and I just scribbled off my darkest color and picked it up with my mid-tone and just blended that out. We're going to do the same thing to his little body. I'm filling it in. You can see how using that Toffee Crunch ink gives you a no-line coloring look. It kind of disappears and takes on the color of whatever you put up against it. So it gives a great way to learn how to no-line color without actually using a no-line coloring ink, because it lets you see your lines, where it makes it a lot easier. So we're just going to blend that out now with our mid-tone and our lightest color. I'm going to add some pink to his little ears and to his little tongue in just a second. So I'm just blending that out with the darkest color. There's his little tongue. Blend that in. I just used 2 shades for that. And his little nose, I'm just going to color it in the ice gray blend. And just 2 colors again there. And for his collar, I'm going to go back to our dark red blend. I've started out with the darkest color and outlined it, and I'm going to come in with the mid-tone, add that, and then blend that out with my lightest color. For the Yorkie today, I am doing a gray blend, and I'm just using the ice gray and blending that out. I started out with my lightest color, mapped that where I wanted my shadows to be, and blended it out with my darkest, and then blended that out with the mid-tone. And now I'm doing a little tip to tip to get a transition, a little bit more of a transition between the 2 colors. I'm going to do the same thing to his little ears. I did the darkest color first and then blended that out with the mid-tone. There's not a lot of room on the little ears, so you don't have to do too much. They can usually get away with the 2 colors. I did come back with the lightest color and do the top. And then I'm going to do his body the very same way. I put in the darkest color first. And then I'm going to blend that out with the mid-tone. And same thing with his little paws. I put in the lightest color to map that out, added in my shadows, and just blending that out with the mid-tone now. Super easy, nothing super hard. And we're going to blend that one more time. For his little muzzle, I just came in with the lightest color and keeping everything super simple as much as possible. And I'm going to put in that same pink for his ears. I think it's the bright pink blend. And so I've done that same color for his tongue. I did all their ears the same color, the ears that were showing. And I did all the bones the same as well. So this is just the lightest ice blue. And I just used that one color and then blended that out with a colorless blender. Now, for our little poodle, I'm assuming she's a poodle, I wanted her to be pink. She's got a poodle haircut. I've always wanted a pink poodle. So, by George, I'm going to color me a pink poodle. I think it's cute when poodles have their little color. So, I am coloring it up. I mapped it out first with the lightest color and then pulled out the mid-tone. And then I just came back with the darkest and started blending that out with the mid-tone, and I'm doing a little tip-to-tip work there. You can see off to the side I am picking up the darkest color with the medium color and just blending that out together, and then I can blend it together with the lightest color in the marker a lot easier that way. I'm going to scribble off a little bit more, picked up that color with the mid-tone and blended it out. It actually blends out quite easy this way and makes the transition a little easier on this marker. And it's the bright pink blend. So we're going to do that to the other parts of her little poofs. And we are just going to color that. And I'm blending out this other ear right now with the mid-tone. And then we'll pull in the lightest color. I just think she's so super adorable. And that little pink little fuzz just makes me happy. And we all need a little happy in our life, don't we? So I'm just blending that out now. Her little paws on her little hair on her feet. And then I'm going to color her little nose. And then I'm going to use the tan blend for her body. So I'm just going to map out where I want my shadows to be. Or actually just did the light and just blended that out. So I just kept it kind of simple. We're going to do the same thing with her body. I didn't want her to be too dark. I do believe I come back in and add a little bit more color to her before the end of this video, but I'm not sure. I'll have to see. I did a little tip to tip. There you go. I'm using the colorless blender and blending that, just picking up color off the tip and blending it in a little bit better. That way I had a little bit more of a transition. I'm going to color in her little heart, and I'm going to color in the food bowl. I'm just using the brown, one of the browns there, the earth brown. Started out with the lightest color and then mapped it out with the dark, and then I'm going to cut these out with my paper strips. So while I do that off screen, I'm going to work on my background panel. I've got a cloud stencil that I have in my stash. You could use the cloud dies and cut those out yourself. But I'm just using some tumble glass for the clouds and adding just a slight little color underneath where they would be. I think I did like 4 rows. And then I added just a little bit of color underneath, so there's a little transition. And then I'm going to come in with a grass stencil from my stash, and I'm going to use Twisted Citron for the first layer and blend that down. And I'm flip it over, and I'm going to come in with Rustic Wilderness. And as if you've heard, I have needed to order a Rustic Wilderness oxide re-inker, and I have finally done it. Now I'm going to come back in with just what's left on my brush. I moved that stencil up just a little bit to have just a third row. Now I'm going to arrange all my little parts and pieces to where I think they want to be, and I've cut all those out now. We're going to place that in our stamp positioning tool where that's why I arranged this, because I wanted to know where everything was going to be, where I could place my sentiment. I'm going to stamp that down with VersaFine Not Turn Clear ink, and then I can attach my card front onto my card base. It's going to fit on the entire A2 size card base, top folding. And then we're going to add our little pieces. I'm going to place my little doghouse down there because he's going to be popped up. Or I lie, he's going to be the little Yorkies behind the doghouse with the little bone, so I had to put him first. The other dogs I'm popping up, and some of the other pieces. So I did pop up the head of the Yorkies to give him a little lift. And we're going to put our little couple down here at the bottom. And I'm going to add some few gel pen highlights to add in just a little bit more. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I like the details. And I like nice bright colors. So I'm just popping in those little highlights where any highlights would be on any of the images. Especially in the darker areas, there's usually a cast highlight down there, so you want to put that in. And then I'm going to finish up adding my little highlights here. And we are going to come in with a black Jelly Roll pen, and I'm going to do their noses in that to add a little bit more detail. And I'm also coloring in her eyes with that black Jelly Roll. It's just a black medium Jelly Roll pen. I didn't use the glaze pen because that would have taken too long to dry. I just used a black Jelly Roll. And I'm going to do their noses and her little eyes that are open, and that way it gives it a little bit more texture. I'm coming in with the paw shakers, and I'm going to use those as an embellishment around my sentiment. I've added 2 or 3 at the top and 2 at the bottom right hand side, and that finishes my card. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys, love you, stay crafty.